I'm also part of that pilot. So my recordings go into my OneDrive and do not go into my stream folder any longer. But then I don't have to download it. It's already in my OneDrive. And I actually do upload these to our IT YouTube, and then I can embed them on our website. So if you've missed any of the previous ones or need to leave early, want to come back and watch later, those are on our training website. There's a link to all of the recordings there.
Brian, for the videos to see who has watched them, I don't know if this still works. I always move my videos to stream because of auto-generating captions, but there's supposed to be an eye in the top right corner. You can click to see who's viewed on it.
Stacy, it was you joining the session that reminded me to even bring that up today.
Did you say that was in stream, Stacy?
No, that's in OneDrive. I move all mine to stream. I have them in OneDrive, but I put them on stream for auto captions. So okay. I'm kind of doing both until they get that auto captioning onto OneDrive. It's always going to be in streams for me.
Gotcha. Now I'm going to go check it.
I'm checking it and see if I click the eye on mine, it shows me who has access, but it won't show me who's watched it. I don't
even see.
Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. It would only show you who's clicked on it, not who's actually watched it. You could always add a form to have people do like multiple choice to make sure they've watched it.
I don't see an eye on. Yeah, I don't see anything from what I've got there. So are you saying that you see that in stream or you see that in your OneDrive?
I just did a Google. I have no idea.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I see the eye in my OneDrive. But when I click it, it says who has access, manage, and it just says what groups, and it has my class team. Ooh, maybe that's different because it's a class team. So because it lists my class teams as having access. Class team.
Yeah, and it automatically uploads it into your class team. And oh, it also gives you an automatic attendance report now. I did not realize that. Yeah, I don't see that either.
Hello, everyone. Sorry for coming in a few minutes late.
No problem. Thanks for joining us. Well, we'll look into it, and that could be a feature that's coming to Brian. I'm not sure. But I will find out. Any other questions?
Since I got here, is it really an open time for general questions?
Yep. We may not know the answer, but
that's all right.
At least we'll know you have a question to figure out the answer to.
I'll just lob something up in the air. I'm sorry to do that. So I just arranged something, so I have a solution, but I wanted to get a sense in the like medium to longer term. What is the vision that we have for hosting, not the UCOM websites, but hosting personal websites, hosting websites for departments for special purposes? It seems like our web hosting is all winding down. I'm not sure what the vision is.
Our web apps team has worked on something for personal websites.
Mhm.
Let me see if I can find that. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, that might be part of it. There's this thing, my site or mysite.marshall.edu. Is that it?
I thought it was my pages or my page.
Or there's also MU pages. That's it.
Maybe that's it.
And so that one reason I was a little worried about that is that, like, on the front page of it, some of the contact info seemed like it maybe goes to addresses that don't exist anymore, which made me wonder whether that was really being maintained or whether it's being rolled down. And also, it just looks like there's not much use, which made me wonder if it was being rolled down.
No, as far as I know, it's not being rolled down, but we do know that we do need to make some changes on this page. But this is for, like, if you want a personal website, of course, you know, any user agreement still applies. You can't sell things on the website. You know, everything on there is for but everything on there is, you know, your views, not the university's views, things like that.
Yeah, I had made a page there at some point. I guess it uses WordPress.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the other challenge. So what we were looking for would be a website where we're going to be putting the HTML and CSS directly up.
It's to my understanding that will not be possible, especially for departments. You would still need to put it on our framework. Anything different, you'd have to contact Chris McComas in University Communications.
Right, and that website has a clear purpose. The UCOM websites like that are clearly advertising, but the other need is for, you know, if you have, like, for example, we're hosting a conference, and so we need a web page that'll be stable for several years. It shouldn't be MU branded and inside the Marshall WordPress, but it doesn't seem like there's many options for hosting that sort of web content on campus.
You would probably have to host it off campus then.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah.
And the same thing as a faculty member.
Is it a Marshall conference?
It's sponsored by the mathematics department. Yeah.
University Communications would probably say it should be hosted on the Marshall website under the website structure as it is.
I hear you, but that's not the right website for that.
I don't work for UCOM, so we just make our website work and support them for what they want.
And similarly, like for my personal web page, essentially I've just moved everything off campus because it doesn't seem like there's an option for faculty to really easily host like their own, well, say HTML, non-WordPress content.
Yeah.
Carl, I've added that to, we have a weekly call, the senior staff of IT, and I've added that to our list. We'll discuss that and kind of finalize where we're going, not just with personal pages, but everything. As things kind of got put on hold with the pandemic, and people were we just working on all sorts of other things, and some of this probably became a lower priority than maybe what it should have been. But we will work with that, and I've got your name on the agenda to so at least we can get back with you specifically, and then in general have something hopefully. I say soon, but soon is a very relative term.
Well, and we have a solution for what we're doing now, so it's not an urgent thing where I'm trying. I spent a little while looking around, and that's why I brought it up, because like the long-term goals, right, or at least for somebody on the outside, are not clear. Like, where are we going as a university with that sort of thing?
Let me ask specifically with regard to your conference.
Yeah.
What type of URL are you looking for? Are you looking at www.myconference.org .edu or .org, or do you want it to, would it be like myconference.marshall.edu or marshall.edu/myconference? I mean, because some of those require, for instance, we have to register a domain. That will require, that's a cost that we would have to address if it's a top level domain.
We were pretty flexible, and I did spend a little while looking at the options. So the biggest actual, the URL format is not the most important thing, whether it's a marshall.edu or independent, but having it stable until the next time this conference happens, which is in about 3 years, is a more important thing, which is why the longer term plan is important, because at the next conference, they're going to want to have a link to this one. So in the end, what we went with, the math department has a server that IT operates, and then we administer. We have an external URL now, www.something.org, and then IT worked on the DNS internally, so everything is working, and we have that. So we host it actually at a virtual server on Marshall, but separately it'll have an external URL that the conference will pay for the domain registration.
Okay, we'll go with that information, and then we'll get back with you and offline from this group.
Sure.
Hopefully very soon, rather than just soon.
Yeah. No, it's great. And like personally, I'm hosting course materials in HTML format. So at the moment, I host them on an external server because there's no easy way for me to do that locally. So.
Very good.
Thank you. Any other questions, concerns, comments? Is there anything you might want a demonstration of? Or I tend to see things happen in meetings and I'm like, well, how'd they do that, right? Maybe adding tabs at the top of Teams. If you're teaching, doing breakout rooms. Brian, you teach with Teams, correct?
Yeah, pretty basic though. Just share screen and record and hope to get student interactions and cameras on.
Yeah. I never get cameras on. Ben.
I get one, and you all, Crystal and Alan, stuff walk by Ben. He's in my class, and yep, you'll see who has the camera on all the time.
Stacy, what about you? I know you teach as well, correct?
Yes, I do. I don't have any problems. I just figured out that I've been setting my meetings up wrong. I do the recurring meetings, but I make them channel meetings. So I can't add any tabs to them. So I'm going to have to fix that. And Brian, I just checked if you, and it might be because my meetings are channel meetings, but my recordings go to SharePoint for the team. And you can see how many people have viewed a video in SharePoint.
You got it.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, Brian, a math person had to show you how to do something on a computer. Isn't that embarrassing?
What's my background? Math and CS. Not
Dude,
embarrassing at all. We're in the same division.
I've been playing with computers longer than Bill Gates. It's fine.
Brian, would you care to share your screen and show us how you got to your SharePoint?
Yeah.
In case there's somebody else that's wondering.
How do you share your screen? I'm kidding. So let me pull this over.
I'm pretty sure everybody who comes to the meeting has access.
Yeah. So in Teams, from my class team, I went to Files, and then I just clicked the Action tab here beside of Recordings, open in SharePoint. And there they are, and then 3 dots. Whoa! Where was it? Actually, if you just roll it somewhere, roll there, 8 views. See details.
Your screen is frozen for me.
I keep having that problem. I don't know why. What do y'all see now?
I see myself now.
Now we're back
So
to the picture-in-picture.
Okay. See details. That's not where I see. Where did I see? Maybe I don't see who. I didn't get to click that before you asked me to share the and click on a recording. I got my hopes up too soon. And it takes you back to the same thing that you see in OneDrive. Who has access? But yeah, take on it. You asked me to share too quick because I saw the 8 views and I got excited. It won't show me who or what.
No, it doesn't show you who, but it shows you how many.
Yeah, I need this. So here, and here's the reason I asked this all together is I can obviously check attendance in Teams, and I do. I have a little case of he said, she said, and they weren't in class. Said I mentioned it in class. I know I watched the recordings, but based on what they said, I don't think they watched the recording. So just for me, I just want to know. Now, last semester when we were in up the stream, I could see exactly who watched.
Okay.
I just
Well,
dug into that a
that's-
little deeper, and it tells me how many. Like if I click another area, it'll tell me how many viewers versus views, but then the panel for viewers is blank.
So you had like 2 viewers that watched it several times.
So on that one, it was like 4 viewers, 9 views. But yeah, and that's as deep as I could get in the data.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, we will check a little further on that and see if there's a workaround or if it's on their roadmap for the future. Okay, so does anybody else have any questions? How do I's? Doesn't have to be about Teams. It could be about multi-factor authentication, Marshall Mobile ID. I'm trying to think what else. The VPN email that just came out today.
Yeah. If somebody did not already have VPN access, do they put in just like a support ticket to get access or call the IT desk?
If you've used it within the last 180 days, you should be in that group.
I'm just imagining some other faculty member who's going to knock on my door in July because I can't use the VPN.
Yeah. Since November.
Yeah.
It is totally self-service.
Okay.
You just call I should say self-service. They contact the service desk.
Okay.
And we may be tightening that up a little bit just to maybe have a forum or something like that. But yeah, that we tightened this up a couple years before the pandemic, and then we loosened it up to all employees back in March of last year, and we're tightening up and just restricting the group for security purposes.
Mm-hmm.
Carl, also everyone in the College of Science faculty and staff group in AD is a member of the group to get the VP to be allowed to be on VPN.
That's great. I'm just imagining certain people who won't realize they don't have it until they need it.
And if you've only ever called our service desk, there are other options. You can always email them. Pretty easy. IT service desk at Marshall. Or we have the chat feature now if you go to our IT website, and it'll tell you who you're even talking to. But you just put your name, whether you're faculty or staff or a student, and Now they can't do password resets through the chat. That is one of the things because of security they cannot do.
Yeah, please
But,
reset the password.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mine usually starts with "Hey" till they respond. But I've found that to be really quick, especially if it's just a quick question or you don't need a request per se. But there's usually somebody manning that chat.
I'm in fear of changing my password. The last time I changed it, it took weeks to get everything to work. So.
Because you kept forgetting it, or
No, because I use a Mac, and it turns out that I have several different devices, and because other devices would continue to try to connect with the old credentials, it would then lock out the new credentials, and then eventually those would work again because the lockout would expire. So you got in this random cycle. Can I log in or not? And eventually I decided I had to turn off every device I owned and then power on one per day and make it work.
Oh my goodness.
And that would fix it. But until then, like if my home computer kept trying to run Outlook, then it would lock me out of my computer at work.
Oh my gosh.
And or my phone or a tablet or who knows what. So
I have
now I learned my lesson, which is don't change your password. And if you do on Macs, you just turn everything off.
And you can get locked out from Wi-Fi connecting and you're not set up for it, or one of your other Outlook mailbox, or not mailbox, but devices running Outlook will try to connect.
Yeah.
I have done that, and I feel your pain, believe me, and I have done that on multiple occasions. Every time I think, wait, did I just click on something I shouldn't have? And I go out there and change my password just in case. And yeah, it let's just say it could be a lot easier.
Right. Well,
don't click on that. That's what Sarah's going to tell you. Stop, think, connect. Hover.
I get these emails all the time. Is this a phishing attack? Well, hell, click on it. Let me see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what we want to do. Anything else? I don't want to cut anybody off. So we recently sent out the VPN update. Couple of months ago, we did a couple of changes as far as switching to Windows Defender for faculty and staff devices. Sarah, if I say something incorrect, please jump in. And then there was one other change I'm trying to think about. Oh, the Barracuda emails, or the captured quarantined emails that you get, that changed. So your emails changed the way they looked when they came in. And when you click on it to check your quarantine, it probably looked a little different. So does anybody have any questions about those two things? I believe the Defender was deployed through Case, correct, Sarah? She may have stepped away.
She's
there she is.
Yes, it was deployed by Case. I guess I was muted.
Okay.
The Microsoft quarantine messages that it shows me are very different than the messages that used to get caught by Barracuda. I'm not sure why, but the ones that I get many fewer from the spam quarantine, and the ones I get tend to be like obvious advertising stuff. I used to get a very different collection in Barracuda of phishing attacks and other things.
I've found that
Most
I have
of the phishing attacks are being completely blocked, not even going to your quarantine.
And I seem to have more in my junk mail folder that Outlook's catching that don't have to be quarantined. Yeah, I definitely like that it's blocking any phishing attacks I have not had to report very many of those. And if you do get something, you can always forward that to phishing, PHI, at marshall.edu, so they can look into it for you. Okay, so as we're here at the top of the next half hour, is there anything anyone would like demonstrated? I like to kind of leave this open. So there's a question from Philippe that says, I checked on the web link after the Facebook attack, and the site indicated that I have had 11 instances of being cloned. What should I
my
do?
My Marshall account, my Marshall email.
Oh, okay. Your Marshall email has been cloned.
Yep.
Sarah, would you like to address that question? It's in the chat.
I thought about ritual suicide, but I think that would be overreacting. Go ahead, Sarah.
I'm sorry, I'm just kind of reading. What site did you?
I was looking at CNN, and there was something that they indicated that you could check in there to see if your email had been used for nefarious purposes potentially, and it indicated that mine had been used 11 times.
It wasn't. Was it Have I Been Pwned, or is it a different? I'm not sure which.
I forgot the name of that web link. I can probably find that, but it would take me about 10 minutes now. So
If it was the CNN article, it was
Correct.
have I been pwned?
yes, that's the one.
That could have been breaches from other places as well. It just makes, typical advice, just make sure you have multi-factor turned on, change your password.
But I have evidence from email that I received at my Marshall that it comes from places that would never ever connect with my work email. So I'm not sure exactly how it came through, but for example, I have an eBay account. I never put my Marshall ID in any way, shape, or form on eBay, and I've been getting for the last few weeks eBay messages on my account. Like, what the heck? So it indicated that apparently somebody put his or her nose into my account and used that used my email name for one particular purpose or another. I've been also my tax account has also been cloned. So I don't know if it's related or not, because I don't use my work email either for taxes. And I changed a lot of my passwords.
Okay.
Recently.
I mean, usually when you create an account on those sites, they make you verify your email address before creating the account. But
they do. But
that's a new. I haven't really heard of that one before.
My Amazon account, my eBay account, and whatever things I use, I have a couple of things. I do not want that to be connected with my work at all. So I would never put my Georgia at Marshall.edu would never show up there.
Okay. Would you care to just forward me some examples of the ones you're getting,
Sure.
just so I can have a better understanding, and then I can talk to you offline?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Sarah,
I hope that was not outside of the scope of the meeting.
No
No problem.
Those are the exact kinds of questions we like in these meetings. Sarah, would you mind to put the link, which I can't find it. I think it's probably the link that you send out when people have been scammed. And I know there's a link in there for the pwned website.
Is that the Marshall link you're talking about?
Yes,
Or,
yes.
Okay.
Because I can find the one that's got like phishing scams and identity theft.
Is that the one that has like what you should do if you've been compromised?
Yeah, compromise.
Okay. Yeah, that's the one.
So the site that Philippe was talking about is under password best practices on the page that Sarah shared. So you can feel free to go there and check your own email addresses. And there's lots of great information on the information security page as well about how to keep your accounts safe, whether your home accounts or your work accounts. part of the reason we have the multi-factor authentication is so that we can keep university data safe as well. So I know a lot of people think that's pain.
It's a little intrusive at times. I mean, getting my phone call from when I'm trying to connect to Blackboard quickly, and then all of a sudden I can't find my phone because calling my phone. Then my earbuds are disconnected, so I can't hear what they say.
My phone is always right next to me. Is that not the case?
Also, the Authenticator app is a little bit more convenient if you keep your cell phone with you a lot.
And if you do that on a different device as well, I have multiple computers that I can use. So I think I'm safe for 60 days in theory. And then the next thing I know, I'm receiving that phone call again. Oh, not that. I understand the purpose. Okay, I do understand the purpose, but sometimes it's a little intrusive.
Now, do you click the box that says "Don't ask me this again" for? I think it's 60 days.
I try to when I think about it. Yes, every once in a while I may miss it, but yes, it's been annoying enough. So I'd like to have 2 months of peace.
60 days passes fast.
Yeah.
Yes.
It does. Indeed. How did we get to April? That's what I'm wondering. Any other questions? That's what I love to hear.
You indicated your best practices for password using a password manager. So that sometimes work only on a particular device. So if you want to connect from a different computer or a tablet or a phone, sometimes the management of the password doesn't work. So you end up having to remember that complex password that comes out of your imaginative day where you decided that you're going to put all sort of goofy things together, and then you get to there, and then after 3 attempts to log in, your account is locked and you can't do anything.
What I do is install I use LastPass, and I install it on all my devices. I install it on my phone, and then I have a browser plugin, and you can also on the iPhone, if you have an iPhone, I'm not sure if this is the case with Android, but you can set LastPass as your default password manager. So if you go on the web, like in Safari, and try to log into something, it automatically pops up with your password.
You don't have then to put what you described to me is probably useful. It might be a useful piece of information to put in your password best practices. You may use the following.
Okay. Yeah. I think we can't put LastPass in there. Just
yes.
I'm not sure if we can put specifically LastPass, but
yeah. So suggest that you use a software or an app that manages that and install that on all your devices that you commonly use.
Yeah.
I don't see it, but
I have a LastPass tutorial.
Actually, Sarah, we do have LastPass and 1Password as options. However, I need to go in and change the lynda.com link, but we can do that for training. We'll switch it to LinkedIn Learning.
So yeah, my attempt at haveibeenpwned.com seemed to have indicated that I was very popular.
LastPass
better or worse.
Price structure and things too. It went from free unlimited to free on one device.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting to be not a good option.
Yeah, I like that I use Chrome and it remembers me on any of my Chrome devices when I sign in with my Google account too. So.
John, I'm not sure I want to put a little bit more of my life under the control of Microsoft, because Microsoft controls already way too much of my life already. I mean, the monopoly issue is kind of bothering me, and actually Apple is getting as bad. iCloud is a nightmare and a half as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, the Authenticator app, if you don't use that for MFA, it really is so much more convenient than getting the phone call or having to type in the 5 or 6 digits they give you.
So that is really valuable information from my point of view, and I think I know other people probably would benefit from if that information is passed on to a large number of faculty and employees in general, even students.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much of that we can do, but that could be done. That may be a good idea. Yeah, you have LastPass and 1Password. So I did not go far enough in the menu. So
which website is that?
It's on information technology, IT.
Slash IT slash compromise.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I was on /IT/FAC passwords.
Mhm.
All right.
Yeah. So my apologies. I'm going to tell you what I tell my students. Why don't you read the syllabus?
It's in the syllabus.
It's in there, yes. So I'm guilty as charged.
Great. So those of you that use Teams for your departments or maybe a committee or anything that you're on, I think most of the people in here have probably used Teams pretty extensively at this point, but I did want to just give you a quick demo. You should be able to see my Teams screen for using technology at Marshall. This was previously using Teams, or it was our Teams training that we started over a year ago when most of us went home during the pandemic start. But we've now changed it to using technology at Marshall. And if you've never used the tabs at the top, it often makes it really easy for other people to find things. So if you go into files, a lot of times there are tons of files that they're digging through. This one doesn't have that many, but you can add items. So if we wanted to add this Excel item here that's under files, we would just click on the 3 dots and you can click on make this a tab. And it will show up there at the top. And then you can see whatever it is that you have there. And just as easy, if you make a mistake, you can always remove it. It will delete the tab, but will not delete the file. And as you can see, the file is still there. We've added the link to recordings here. And then depending on the type of team you have, you may have a staff notebook when you start the team. This one's not set up, but I love it because it is a OneNote notebook. So then if I go into my OneNote, I can access it there. I also have pretty much all of the Microsoft apps on my phone, especially OneNote. So if I go to a meeting, my computer dies and I want to take notes on my phone, on my OneNote app, it'll sync right up. So that's one of the things I love about OneNote and the integration with Teams. So that was just one of the ways that you can collaborate. Of course, you can save any of your documents in OneDrive. You can also share those and collaborate with each other, whether it's within your department. If you put it in the team, you can collaborate there live. You can also encourage your students to use OneDrive and collaborate on group projects that way as well.
Teams related question. One of the things that has been frustrating for me with Teams is the fact that some of the features that are offered on a PC are not offered on a Mac. For example, if I want to play a video from, say, YouTube for a class, they got the video, there's no audio. And it's a known issue with Teams. Microsoft knows that it is that way, and it's not compatible with OS X for reason or another. On a Mac, any Mac.
That feature is being released for the Macintosh this month. As a matter of fact, if you're on the preview release, it's already there. So expect that in the next couple of weeks to roll out.
Thanks.
And it works exactly the same way as the PC.
It's been frustrating because for about a year or so, I was wanting to share some of the animation, for example, for classes with my students, and you have to use closed caption and try to be the voice off on that. And it sounds French to me. I don't know why they complain about the voice over being French. So, but it's about time that is being added for the Mac as well. Thanks, Alan, for the confirmation. I've been complaining a lot today. I'm back to being myself.
Yes. Those aren't complaints. Those are questions, comments, suggestions.
I try to make it positive in the end, so not that I will succeed.
No,
but
much
I try
appreciated.
to.
Much appreciated.
Which means that my conclusion will, I appreciate you guys trying to help us, Crystal,
Yeah, well, that was
everybody else was in charge.
definitely part of the reason we wanted to do this. In the future, we would welcome any suggestions, especially if you would like a full demonstration of something, or if you feel like maybe you're doing something innovative in your classroom that other faculty members may benefit from. We would love to have you on to demonstrate those as well. Alan has shared a video.
Yeah, this video is 14 new features that are coming here in April in Teams. And I might put a plug in. There is an early adopters team that's a public team that you can now join. It's a early adopters of Teams. So if you're using any of the Teams features that may be rolling out or on the roadmap, it's an excellent team to join to kind of convey ideas and things right around the use of Microsoft Teams, not just in the classroom, but for business use as well.
Alan, you're talking about.
Sorry, Crystal, go ahead.
Alan, you're talking about the one within our tenant, correct?
Yes, it's called the Teams Early Adopter. If you just search for early adopter, you should be able to find it. I'll try to put a link in the chat.
I already got it.
Alan, will the upgrade that Teams has been put for the Mac, will it require some changes in my setting, or will that be something that will be transparent for the user?
You will. There is a procedure to get your Teams client updated. It involves signing out of Teams and closing the application and then restarting it, and it should come up and update itself automatically. But if you have trouble with that, the service desk can assist.
Yeah, I think I've updated before. So that's the point. My only concern is if I have to go into the three-dot thing and make changes so that the video can be seen and heard by the students. But if it's fully integrated, it should be transparent for me and for them as well, right?
Well, you do when you go to share content, you do have to hit a little slider button, just like the Windows version. And I'm running the Mac version now, and it works exactly that same way and works well.
Good luck.
Yes. Mike, thanks for the information as well. You guys are helping me a lot today. Thanks.
That's what this is all about, right?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Working together is already better than being in your own corner trying to reinvent the wheel on a regular basis. So.
Well, it's like I tell my students all the time. I find students like to go onto Twitter and complain about something in technology not working, whether it's, I'm having trouble with the Wi-Fi or something like that. And of course, I run our social media, so I get those and I'm like, have you reported your issue? Have you called the service desk to ask for help? And they don't respond. I'm like, oh, you just wanted to complain. It's okay. But we would rather hear about those issues. We can't fix things
you will not win a lottery if you don't buy tickets, right?
Yeah. No, we can't fix things we don't know about.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And sometimes we don't know what your questions are to tell you those things. So
Teams is a little bit unlike a lot of the other Microsoft products because when they release something, you're going to know it. You get a new version, and I'm sitting here looking at users down the side rather than where they used to be across the bottom. Everything's changed every now and then, and it takes a little bit of getting used to, but at least you know that they are actually improving, in quotation marks or air quotes, improving the product. Thank you, Crystal.
So Alan, you were mentioning that in order for me to update, I have to quit Microsoft Teams.
You have to sign out. Completely.
Sign out, and then we
not just close the screen. You have to go up, click on your picture, choose close that. You don't want to do that now.
No.
Yeah, don't do it right now. But then you'll sign out, and then when you reopen Teams and sign back in.
Okay.
Carl, did you have a question?
Well, yeah, here's a more a Teams / OneDrive question. So in OneDrive.com, I can see shared libraries from teams that I'm in. And the OneDrive app syncs my OneDrive with my local file system, but not those. Is there a way to sync those with my local file system?
So you're looking at the web version?
Well, I'm looking at both, and the slight difference that the web version links to those shared libraries, but I don't know if I can mark them somehow to sync to my local file system like the rest of my OneDrive.
Yes, I believe you can. I have not done that, so I say that with, some trepidation.
Well, the next
But
question is how.
the important thing to say about OneDrive is a few years ago it did not have selective sync. So anything that was in your OneDrive was synced to whatever application or whatever device you put it on.
Yeah.
You now have selective sync, so you can select what needs to be synced down there or not. So my idea is go ahead and test that. Whatever you're wanting to do, just click on the ellipses, the 3 dots, and see if it can allows you to selectively sync.
I don't see a 3 dots. That's the trouble. When I look at the shared libraries in OneDrive, I can see shared libraries for the teams that I'm in, but I don't see any ellipses with them. Here. Here, I shared a picture of OneDrive.com once I came into it. Yeah, I've turned off selective sync. My goal is to have an actual copy of my files on my file system.
Carl, I actually had just today couldn't figure out why my OneDrive on my MacBook was not syncing with changes I made yesterday, and found out that's because it was not logged in. It was still I'm looking at the dates, and they were from November, and it's because I was not logged in. That may not be your problem, but it's also something that, I mean, I looked around to see how do you make this stuff sync, and it's because the easiest way is just to actually give it your username and password for me.
So the rest of it is syncing. It's the shared libraries that are coming from teams that I don't know if it's possible to get those to share as part of my OneDrive. The OneDrive website is integrating that together somehow to give me a unified view, but I don't know if it actually is treating them the same, my files versus the shared libraries. It's not an earth-shattering issue. It would just be convenient if I could edit those things from my file system.
So I think one of the challenges there, and this goes back to sharing files, group files, in SharePoint and other applications where you have a directory that's being shared with lots of users, you need to be somewhat cognizant of being able to check that out and check it back in. So if you were to sync it down to your device and then take your device offline and make changes, and then when you reconnect, sync it back up, there's a possibility of a conflict if someone else had done the same thing at the same time. With SharePoint, there's an ability to check that item out. So really, Teams is nothing more, well, it is a lot more, but it's a front end to SharePoint. So the back end is really using SharePoint as a method there. So I think we'll have to explore that a little bit. I have not done that from a team. I just assumed that I'll leave the document in Teams. I do know that there is a feature rolling out, and I have to check the roadmap, but it is Teams on the go. So when we get back to flying or going to the beach or whatever, you might want to take content from a team and put it on your laptop where you're not going to be connected. My guess is it will make some of the items uneditable at that point, but I haven't explored what that feature is. Has anyone else looked at that?
Carl, if you want to sync a folder, like the shared folders on OneDrive, if you open it up, it has like 4 different folders. If you click on one of those folders, it opens it in SharePoint, and at the top you've got sync. If you click that, it sends it to your OneDrive.
Okay. I hear you, but where are you seeing sync? In Teams or in the browser?
Hang on, I'll show you. In the browser, let me share this. Oops. So if you're here in OneDrive, if you click on one of your classes, it has these 4 folders.
Yep.
Click on those 4 folders. There's sync. It will sync it to your OneDrives. You can also do the whatever shortcut to My Files, but I mean that sync sends it to OneDrive.
Okay.
You can also do that inside Teams. If you open up like the files in any of the channels, you've got a sync at the top and it will do the same thing.
I'm trying it out to see if I can get it to. I tried that, and it does add. I can get a shared files, a shared documents link of some sort that I can see in the browser, but it doesn't seem to sync it to my local file system through the OneDrive app.
That's unusual. It's syncing to mine.
Interesting. Maybe it's an ownership thing, but thanks. Maybe it's a way we can get it to work. Okay, maybe it's just a delay. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you. Maybe it just takes a while for everything to catch up with itself.
Yeah, sometimes syncing does take a little longer than what we're used to.
The only thing I don't like about it is all of the folders have the same names, and it tends to get confusing because you can't put them inside folders in OneDrive.
Right. I wouldn't imagine needing to sync all of them, just some of them. What?
So Gardner, is that an offer to present your scary internet presentation sometime?
It has gory characters in there, I'm pretty sure. The Frankenstein monster of the internet.
Carl, I also found it, although it's working now, but for other people, there's I posted a link from a Microsoft support site
It didn't come through, Michael.
I didn't?
You have to hit the button.
I did hit the button. I see it on it's on the chat. It's scrolled off the page already.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, it actually has some other links to other support documents and a video. I don't know if it actually would resolve your issue, but it takes care of an issue I was having yesterday, or Monday.
Interesting.
Great.
I had to mail a 40 megabyte file to the state, and it wouldn't even let me add it to my unsent mail message saying this is too big for the server. Do something else.
Yeah. That I found OneDrive seems to work sometimes for that. Of course, the traditional way was put it in a web folder and send somebody a link, but without web folders, we can't do that anymore. So.
Yeah, it's very easy to share now, I feel like. All right. We have maybe time for one more question. But we'll stay as long as you need. Brian's got your hand up. What's your question, sir?
Just real quickly, what was the rationale to limit sending email up to 500 recipients at a single time?
I will have to turn that over to maybe John Cutler or Michael.
I would defer to John, but that could be a Microsoft limitation of some sort or something, or we have probably set it down that low just to keep the activity to a dull roar. One of the issues we have is that the students can do those mass mailing. Anybody, they have access to a lot of the groups that we have published out there, so it wouldn't. It'd be very easy for someone to harvest names and send a mass mailing out.
How I found it is trying to send a mass mailing to like all the students in biology about an opportunity, and there's 535 names, and so across the board.
Two mail messages.
You found out you had to bundle them. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just the 35 unlucky ones.
And you always want to send those as a, if you don't have them in a group, well, even if you do have them in a group, you always want to send them as a blind copy.
Yeah, that I do. It's just then when I went to send scholarship information to the College of Science students, that split message became 4 messages, and copy paste and making sure I didn't put them in the wrong box and everything else becomes fun.
We had and I was downstairs at the time, so it's probably about 5, 6, 7 years ago, where someone had replied back to a policy that I had posted on the faculty senate list that was distributed to all the faculty, and it went back and forth a couple dozen times and kept regenerating over and over, and just the size of the email group itself was huge, and all of a sudden you had like multi-megabyte email messages that were getting flittered all over the place to everybody, because everyone would always reply to all when it wasn't necessary. John's showing his face.
Let me jump on here. Sorry, I did a quick exit there. I clicked on a yes, apply the update, and it rebooted my computer. So yes, that even happens to IT people, right? To address Brian's question about that 500 message limit, that is a default setting in Office 365. So many folks picked that up as their mailbox was moved over to Office 365. The two things. One, ideally, we want to find a way to get out of the habit of sending one message to 500 individual recipients, so you can use distribution groups and things like that. If that's not available, and again, there are a number of use cases where individuals do need to communicate with a large number of recipients in a message. There is an authorized bulk sender group that we can put folks in. But that to go back to the 500 message limit, it's from a data security, from a message security perspective, in that many of the bulk attacks and things like that occur from a compromised account, and most average users, students, and many employees don't need to send that many messages to folks at once. But we certainly know that is common with, as you are in higher levels in the department, you're communicating with larger and larger groups, and so there are workarounds there that IT can assist you with if that's a barrier. Does that make sense?
So John, does that mean that Brian needs to either request to be put into the bulk senders group, or could we automatically create an IDM distribution group for him out of Banner to all students in the College of Science?
So I think we'd want to maybe take the message offline to talk with each individual to see what their use case is. Brian may already have a distribution group. So just that recipient is based on not the roll up that's in the group, but the individual members that are on the addressee line. So if you've got a distribution group that's got 600 people in it, Exchange only sees that as one recipient, even though it expands it when it goes out. But if you don't have that group built, or if you need to do ad hoc groups because of different ways that you're grouping those individuals, we certainly understand that, and that may be where that you want to have, here's individuals that within the college or within a division that need to have that exception, basically have a quota increased on what their account can be used to send.
Great. All right. Last chance for questions. We are a little over time. Like I said, if you have questions, burning questions, will stay. If you have any ideas for specific future topics, of course, if you have any questions or need technical assistance, you can always reach out to the IT service desk. You can also email me with any questions you may have or ideas you may have. I would love to hear from you.
There's a future topic: forms versus dynamic forms. What's recommended for what class versus a college versus that kind of stuff.
Forms versus dynamic forms.
Yeah, I mean they're all out there. I mean, for example, I know the university's putting a lot of stuff into dynamic forms, but then for quick polling forms seems to be, they just want to make sure that is the right way to go, what we should be doing. And I want Bill to make these scary web presentation.
When you say forms, do you mean Adobe Sign forms or the Microsoft forms?
Yeah, Microsoft forms.
Okay.
Forms, yeah. Everything's been shortened to one word in Teams, so I always forget that it's Microsoft.
Great, thank you. All right. Well, thank you all for attending, and we hope to see you next time. Remember, these are every second and fourth Thursday of the month. I did start sending out individual invites so you could put them on your calendar to some people, and then I think they shared it out even further. So, but if you need the invite, let me know and I'll add you to the list. But you guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for attending.
Thank you.
Thank you.